Independence Day. 20 years ago, this movie was made. Were you dying for a sequel? We're here at Brennan Theaters watching Independence Day Resurgence. I have to say, I did not enjoy this movie, and I'm going to break it down for you guys. First one was a little cheesy. It was very 90s. I think if this movie would have been in the 90s, it probably would have been very good and very popular. But we're not in the 90s anymore. What we look for in a movie is very different. This movie, while it's 20 years later, didn't evolve with cinema, and it kind of stayed in that cheesy 90s era. Nothing really makes a whole lot of sense. I understand that we're not exactly grounded in reality from the basis of the first movie. Implanting a virus into a ship is kind of just ridiculous. A lot of the jokes fell flat. A lot of them were supposed to be cheesy one-liners, and I just rolled my eyes. The special effects were very good. I was very impressed with some of the fight scenes, although what was happening during the fight scenes was pretty stupid. The actual look of the fight scenes were pretty cool. I think this movie suffers from what I like to call Spider-Man 3 syndrome, where there are way too many characters. It decides that it's going to give you pretty much every character from the first movie, so you know what happened to them, which I'm fine with that. The nostalgia is very cool to see the characters again, because I was a fan of the first movie. But not only does it show you all the characters, but a majority of them stay through the movie. Then they're adding new characters in, and by the time you get to the end of the movie, there's so many freaking characters that they didn't give any of them enough time to actually build any plot or character development. The movie, I guess, could have been like an hour longer, and maybe we would have cared about some of these characters, but some of them are barely in the movie. Why even have that character in the movie? They got very little screen time, they hooked up with another character, and there's really no purpose to them in the story. Sadly, I have to be vague. I don't want to spoil anything for you, but I will say that there is a number of characters in the movie that I just don't think should have even been there. And some of the ones that were nostalgic, it could have been just hey, this is what happened to him, never show him again. The romance, every single one of them was lame. They all felt tacked on, and there's multiple of those like that, where there was only one really established romance, and that's the typical blockbuster romance you expect with the hero and everything like that, but everything else around it was just kind of there for no reason. I found myself kind of bored. I'm normally the guy that gets immersed in movies really easily. I didn't get immersed in this movie at all, which was sad. I wanted this to be better than I felt it was. If you saw the first movie and you're curious, obviously you're going to want to give this one a shot. If you're kind of on the fence, like I'm not sure if I should see this movie, the first one was pretty cheesy, it's a long time ago, just wait till you can rent it or watch it outside of theaters. It's not really a theaters movie. I will say that the 3D, we watched it in 3D. The 3D was cool with the effects, because the effects, like I mentioned earlier, were pretty big and they were pretty cool, but I don't think that pushes it over into the I need to see this in theaters realm. So I give this movie a 6 out of 10. I felt that it's eye candy. If you're into special effects and you're really into that, it has that. I felt that there was nostalgia to be had. I got a little more than I asked for, but I did want to know what happened to these characters, especially the main characters. The rest of the movie was lackluster. Let's see what our other pilots had to say.
Well, we got to get one thing out of the way first. Is this as good or better than the first movie? That's an easy no. It's definitely not as good as the first movie. And let me clarify the word good, because in my opinion, the movie Independence Day, it's not really a smart movie. It's not a clever movie. It's not a well thought out, intelligent movie. It's a gut movie, and it's just very, very simple. People versus aliens. And when you watch Will Smith punch an alien in the face, you're like, yes, this is awesome. This movie doesn't have that.
Well, this movie didn't connect emotionally as much as I had hoped for me. It wasn't terrible. I did enjoy myself. I kind of wanted a more clever script. I watched the first one and loved it 20 years ago, and it was very cliched. Cliches can be enjoyable, but this movie was also very cliched. I just wanted a little more original thought put into it, and I didn't think it was there.
Well, I'm glad I didn't get too hyped up like I did for Star Wars Episode 7. This movie wasn't covered by Entertainment Weekly, wasn't screened ahead for critics, so I already knew something wasn't too good about this movie. Production value is awesome, but the screenplay just lacks substance and depth as far as characters go, emotional depth.
This movie is actually more of a science fiction movie than the first one. The first one was really a disaster film with aliens. This film is 20 years in sort of a fictional world where we have alien technology, moon bases, and all these extra things. You don't feel as connected to this world as you did to the 20 years ago, 1996, because that was our world. Those were our things being destroyed, and you had a kind of a sense of pride. You know, the Statue of Liberty, you know, it's wrecked. Like, we don't like that. And now it's like the moon base is wrecked. Okay, I don't have a personal emotional connection to the fake moon base. So it doesn't really give you that same sense of satisfaction.
What was enjoyable is the characters made it enjoyable. They had some good characters, a lot of ones from the first movie, and that was like coming home and seeing old friends. And the new ones, I like them too. The design of the aliens and their ship still stands up. I thought that looked great. They looked great. The dog fights were great. I enjoyed those a lot. The big thing with this movie was it didn't connect emotionally with me. My companion and I, we were laughing at moments that probably shouldn't have been laughed at. It was an enjoyable evening out, but definitely not one of the best movies I've seen recently.
Old actors coming back, Bill Pullman, Jeff Goldblum, Judd Hirsch, are all plus. It has a nostalgia for those who are big fans of the 1996 film. But other than that, most of the other characters I really don't give a crap about, really. However, the movie did leave us open for a possible sequel, which I do look forward to. And Brent Spiner, I forgot to mention him. Brent Spiner's back, who plays Dr. Oaken, who I thought was dead. But Brent Spiner even said in an interview that they checked for his pulse, but they never actually said he's dead. They left it open, so I just assumed he was dead. But I was only 10 years old at the time, so what can a 10-year-old assume? If his eyes are open, he's not moving, not appear to be breathing, I think he's dead, Jim. Visual effects and the sound effects, all what you'd hope and expect for in a movie like this. But other than that, it's not a worthy sequel, but I look forward to seeing what they bring in the third movie if there's a conclusion that they plan on doing. And it looks like they have something planned, but we'll see what happens. I just don't want to wait another 20 years to find out.
Now, on the plus side, we had Jeff Goldblum, who was awesome in the first movie, and he's awesome here too. I mean, he's a joy to watch. Judd Hirsch is back. We had Bill Pullman. Pretty much everyone that didn't die in the first movie is back in this, even if just for brief moments. And it was a thrill. I don't know that it would be thrilling for anyone that hasn't seen the first movie.
On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give this and why?
I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. I did enjoy myself a lot watching this movie. And I think if you were a fan of the first one, I think that you would probably enjoy watching this. Not as much as the first one, but still you get that continuation of the story, and it was true to that continuation.
A 6, because it did have an entertainment value, and like I said, I'm a fan of the first movie, but it just didn't quite inspire the same feelings and proudness of being a human that the first movie inspired. And it could be because I'm 20 years older and 20 years more jaded. Still, I was kind of hoping for that same feeling like, yeah, go us. But, it just didn't quite hit it with me.
I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10. Terrible screenplay, terrible, shallow, two-dimensional characters, at least the newer ones, but visually dazzling, good music, good nostalgia, that's about it.
So I'm very interested to know, what is your favorite alien invasion movie? We have a poster and a special pin for this movie that we're going to give away to one random commenter. So go ahead and leave a comment down below telling us what your favorite alien invasion movie is. And of course, if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel. We do reviews every single week. And if you like this video, give us a like. And remember, you heard it here at The Source.